That took a minute. Welcome back to another ANEZMIND reaction. Damn, am I too close? I'm not trying to be too loud. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there who is celebrating it. I know not everyone celebrates it, but if you are, happy Thanksgiving. Probably not watching this on Thanksgiving Day because, well, today's Thanksgiving Day, and this is definitely not uploaded today. But hope everyone enjoy their day. Thanksgiving Day, that is. Or if it's not Thanksgiving Day, hopefully you are enjoying your day. Whichever day you're watching this. Whatever. All right. Where are we on this? I'm kind of confused right now. Actually, there's not much to do. Oh yeah, that's what I want to talk about. I gotta get a new setup, man, or I gotta upgrade my setup because I was trying to use my AirPods. These right here, I was trying to use my AirPods for the OBS Studios, but I think it's just my AirPods that's messed up because people complain about the audio when I'm on FaceTime with people and I'm using my AirPods. It does something with the audio. So I think, but I was trying to opt for that because there's a lot of noise coming from the head jack on these headphones, and I'm like, okay, I gotta find a way to mitigate all that noise that's coming from the head jack on this. I just tested a little bit. It was all right, but I feel like it progressively gets worse the longer I'm running OBS and having my YouTube app open and recording at the same time. You know, I just need work my way up to a more advanced desktop. Maybe that'll be my Christmas gift. I gotta start making a list. But anywho, welcome back. Today we're reacting. Let me scroll down a little bit for you. Pursuit of Wonder, one of my favorite channel, if not my number one favorite channel on YouTube here. Finding something to live and die for. Number one educational channel, favorite educational channel. I indulge in other facets of YouTube. But anywho, I don't think there's any more need to say. The title was intriguing to me when I saw it on my homepage. Because I'm not gonna say I personally struggle to find something to live for and die for, but I think I struggle with choice because often when I'm reviewing decisions in which I look to make, I see a lot of I see the pros and cons of either or choice, and it gets hard for me to really settle in. Because the thing is, it's not even with making choice; it's also perspective when I'm talking to other people, and like for instance, when I'm mediating a conversation, well, argument between two friends, like I see both sides. I see the points and what they're trying to say from both sides, and it gets hard for me to declare, either or side to be quote unquote correct. And there's more to it. Like I said, I'm much better at writing. I've written on it a lot actually. If you check on my ANEZMIND page, the Instagram page, or even on TikTok, the poetry that I've posted, the prose that I've posted, there's that concept is conveyed throughout my writings a lot. But let's see if we can learn something from the pursuit of wonder. See if we can add on to our knowledge and maybe make decision making much more easy. Gotta make sure it's in 1080p. Ooh, take a little bit. I saw it as an ad in the beginning. I was thinking, should I skip it? But I was like, you know what? Nope, don't need you popping up. Let's get right into the video.
Matter and energy flooded out.
Whoa. Sorry. My captions, man. All right, here we go.
40% off.
40% off, y'all.
Matter and energy flooded out. Time and space unfolded. Stars, planets, and cosmological unions formed. The journey of the universe began. After billions and billions of chaotic but lifeless years passed, suddenly, From the sea of boiling cosmic soup, life bubbled up to the surface. And then, out from the froth, eventually, complex consciousness emerged. Feelings, thoughts, and the experiences of what it was like to be something in the universe were had. Following a sequence of trial and error, push and pull, survival and extinction, like a baby opening its eyes for the first time, one of the earliest conscious species, known as Homo neanderthalensis, awoke to find itself
Say that
as
3 times.
something somewhere in a strange, unknown place. On a small sea stack on the shore of a body of land, an especially curious and intelligent Neanderthal that went by the name of Primo sat next to one of his friends named Sa. The two looked up at the night sky as the darkness of the night slowly turned to dawn, the remaining stars still dripping down into the ocean beneath. Primo looked over to Sa, and in a crude, limited language, he asked something that translated loosely into, "What is this?" "What do you mean? What is what?" Sa replied, "This place, us. Why are we here? What is the purpose? What is our purpose?" Sa remained quiet for a moment, looking out at the cosmos, veiled by distance and time. "Well, this whole place was made for us, obviously. There are things to eat and drink and play with, a home to live in. The sky warms and cools us when we need it. It gives us everything we need. Something has obviously made this for us. The creators are watching over us. They are making sure we are okay, and they know why we are here. The point is about us. We just have to follow them and do what they want." The two sat quietly as the sunrise began and the night ended. Hundreds of thousands of years would go by. Consciousness grew and matured as it began to understand more and more about its surroundings, how to make use of its surroundings, how to integrate with it, how to survive and maintain independence within it. Civilization developed and spread out across the planet, and a new species had now emerged, known as Homo sapiens. Two young humans named Mara and Felix sat on the porch of Felix's family's house in the countryside. Together they looked up at the night sky, covered by a blanket of ominous clouds, backlit by the moon. The two talked about various aspects of each other's lives, trying to make sense of and connect over it all. At some point, Mara asked, "What do you think the point of everything is? The endless generations churning through, the difficulty of trying to become someone, having to endure and cope with the evil and sin of the world, the useless fighting and greed. For
Man,
what? What's it all for? Why do
I posed that question to myself, even though Felix is probably going to go on to give his answer. I posed that question to you guys as well, so please feel free to answer in the comments. But you know, um, that's a question I battle with every day, and sometimes the answer leaves me. I don't want to say hopeless, but leaves me. What's the word? Unmotivated about the future sometimes, but other times it leaves me eager and well hopeful. I guess it just depends on the mood I'm in which assessing that question. But a lot of times I've at least of recent, I say recent, but it's been like I guess the past 2 years. But when I ask myself that question, I always get to the somewhat of a conclusion where I think it to be rather pointless, but it's objectively pointless, but subjectively there can be applied meaning if willing, if looking to apply such meaning, any kind of meaning. And I think it's up to each individual to decide whether or not they want to indulge in the search for meaning in life. I personally, I'm not quite sure if I can say I've given up, but maybe I can say that. But in giving up, I feel like I found more peace, more consistency in believing and understanding for myself that there isn't much more to life other than to experience it. I wrote one of the I think I posted it. It was a prose that I wrote. It was like a minute 30 seconds, and the question it was asking It was just like what if, and it was going all through these things in which we give meaning to, defining things with defining things under specific terminology, or looking at the relationships and recalling it as meaningful. And then at the end, I had asked, what if your God spoke to you and told you all that, if all which you've experienced was nothing more nor nothing less than an experience, what if the whole purpose, the whole point of being was to be? Because Alan Watts said something which I thought profound, and was thought profound and was thought provoking. That ing in which we apply to the end of words, that's suffix, to describe something that's ongoing, something that's continuing. And we so often like look at things that are, I guess, visually, aren't moving, aren't really changing anywhere. Like this microphone here, we refer to as a microphone as if it can always be a microphone. But the way he was thinking about it, or was looking at it, how this microphone is not a microphone, but it's microphoning, or my hand is handing, and once I clench it, I'm clenching, or I'm fisting. And so just adding that ing, putting into perspective that everything is ongoing and continuous, and seeing has not as nothing comes to a stopping point, even though it may look like, to the naked eye, as everything being still. Nothing's ever really still. Everything is constantly in motion. If and when you look at things on a molecular level, you can see that the molecules and the protons and electrons moving about and making way in the solid or gas form that it's in, or liquid form. And dang, where was I going? I think I kind of just say all that to, what was I saying? To put it into perspective, like Alan Watts said, is that see, this is where it happens. I lost my train of thought. I was going somewhere was good. I was gonna circle back around. I was gonna nail it. Whew. Dang. I want to remember it so bad. I foresaw a stopping point. I was gonna wrap it around and bring it together, and then it just disappeared. Hey man, that's what happens sometimes. That constant chase, I guess. But yeah, my personal understanding, there's no really, there's no objective meaning to life. Everything is as it is. You guys should tune into the community post. I try to make it as often as possible, but anytime I do have these thoughts, I would before look to write in my notes, or I had a Finsta, quote Finsta, but it was really, I guess, an Instagram journal where I would type these thoughts out. But I'll be looking to post them on the community side of my channel. And so please do tune in, leave comments, leave your expression, the thoughts in which come to you when you're reading it, so it can maybe inspire me or give me something to think about as well. Anyways, back to the video.
Even keep going. Felix thought to himself for a moment,
There we go,
still looking
Felix.
up at the low-hanging night sky. Then he said, I believe God wants us to be happy as possible, and to experience as much pleasure as possible, to revel in the gifts of God as a means toward moral goodness and everlasting blessing. The point of life is hedonism, to make the most of it, to experience and savor the divine nectars of existence. Mara grunted, but didn't say anything further. Millions of more years would go by.
Sheesh.
Consciousness continued to grow and mature at disorienting rates and in disorienting ways. As it grew older, its independence and responsibility to itself grew heavier. Dramatically new conditions of life would emerge that brought new technologies, new understandings, new structures and frameworks of being. The species known as Homo artificialis would become the latest evolution of now
That's what I like about this channel. It adds a little sci-fi aspect to it, and it kind of projects into the future, and it kind of, I guess, maybe it follows, you know, a possible, natural progression of things, or maybe he just makes it up and draws out of thin air. I don't think it does that, but that's a possibility. I haven't looked into it, but I like that part about this channel. It jumps forward a little bit and talks about the possibilities.
Species known as Homo artificialis would become the latest evolution of now technologically advanced consciousness. An artificial by the name of Ansgar sat with one of their higher ranking comrades, named Aldous, on their exploration cruiser ship, looking out through a large glass window at space floating by and around them. Where are we even going? Ansgar asked. We have been continuing on for so long, but to where? For what? I'm getting tired. Life seems to just be a continuation of the same things over and over, but in different forms. Happiness and
Hmm.
pleasures leave as fast as they come. They never last or change anything. I have lost all naivety required for hope in the fleeting pleasures of more or new. New technologies, new understandings, and new ways of life come about, but problems never seem to go away. Misery and pain never seem to go away. We all die anyway. What's the meaning of it all? Aldous paused, sternly holding their head forward, looking out the window into the distant star systems they had long since passed. There is no meaning, Aldous replied. We all know that. Not any real meaning, at least. The gods abandoned us a long time ago. There is no one watching out for us, directing us, helping us, or giving us anything. But now, we're free. Our parents have stopped telling us what to do and who we are, and now we're free to do what we want and become who we are. We create our meaning, not in pleasure or happiness, but in meaning itself, for the sake of itself.
Hmm.
Pain and loss and suffering, the fact that everything ends and nothing ever permanently relieves us, is the very fuel we use to make our meaning. Fulfill your role and provide your value to the Empire, and acquire as much value in return from it as you can, for yourself and for those you know and are responsible for. Become wealthy and important from and for something that you deem important, and that is enough. Ansgar sat, holding still for a while. Billions of years would go by. The stars were
Right.
beginning to die. Galaxies had spread out completely if they hadn't yet joined or dissolved away. Space was thinning as the universe began its end. Still, however, consciousness continued to survive and had now made it into old age, with one remaining species that descended from the very first beings to awake in the cosmos, a species known as Homo senies. Almost all of the Seni's ancestors and brethren had long since died away, but the Seni's had survived and become a being that attained a sort of supremacy over their nature, and almost immortality. Sitting on the edge of planetary bodies, two Seni's, a commander named Beethan, and the sovereign leader of the entire species, named Olam, sat looking out at the remaining stars as they twinkled their final light. We have traveled the entire cosmos. Our species has seen everything there is to see, learned everything there is to know, every law of physics, every rule of reality. We have become basically immortal. But now we end up here, having found nothing in the form of ultimate meaning, and now we're about to die with everything else. What was it all for? He then asked. Olam made an expression like they knew something, like they had known this answer for a while and had been waiting to be asked. Our purpose, the point of life, of consciousness, is simply to survive and mature so we can make it here. Okay, but for what? He then asked. To create. A brief pause surrounded them. To create what? The universe, Olam answered. I don't understand. Why create the universe again? Why keep everything going if there's no point to it? We won't even be able to personally experience it again, at least not knowingly. But keeping it going is the point. We are the creators and the created. We are the gods we have worshipped and the disciples who God has blessed and smote. Every species.
Oh, I meant to pause it. That reminded me of a video my father sent to me a while back. I think I spoke about it in a past reaction. It's UG Kerr Kedashanti. I don't. I'm butchering it. I'm not even probably. I'm probably no. I'm butchering, like I was said. But he was expressing his thinking behind the, I guess, the meaning for man, the purpose for man, and he was talking about how the whole idea for individual is to simply like the reason why we our thoughts are merely there to perpetuate itself itself. And we have this uh, um fundamental want, this fundamental desire to survive, to keep on whatever it is. We have no understanding of what it is we're actually doing. All we know, or not even know, but all we feel compelled to do is to continue it. Even though we have no idea what it is, we're like, it must go on. And then you're like, what must go on? I don't know. But just keep doing, just keep going. And it gets, how do I say? That me personally, it does something to me, not knowing purpose, not knowing meaning. Or although I have my believe that there's no objective meaning or objective purpose, it's almost like you wish there was though. And then I think that's where that wish, and that's because right now when you don't have any meaning or purpose, it's almost like you're in free fall, and that can be scary at times because a lot of people, especially when the people around you are holding on to the ledge, or not the ledge, but holding on to a ledge, an idea, a philosophy, a doctrine of some sort. And a lot of people hold on to Christianity, and not to paint Christianity as folklore or as something that shouldn't be believed in, but I do believe it to be something which allows people to breathe a little bit, to have something to look to in times of struggle, especially when they're fighting with themselves. When an individual, when it's self versus self, that can cause for a lot of mental and emotional turmoil. And to be able to look to Christianity can, or well, in this case, I'm speaking of Christianity, but any religion or any philosophy or doctrine can be useful. But me personally, not having that, it can be, like I said, troublesome. And I think that's where that wishing of, you know, there being an objective meaning, an objective purpose, I think I kind of resonate with the idea. But I think that's why sometimes here and there I may get down, or dispirited and just want to be alone. But now that doesn't last for too long because I think I find great joy in learning and growing my knowledge. And it's not to, I can't even say it's to teach. It's just I feel like it's from my own personal gain. Like I said, it's not really a gain of any sort. It just, one, it makes me feel good inside, and two, I feel like it gives me something to do. And one of the two things I kind of, I guess, live by, one of the a rule for me, if you will, a law for me, is like, as long as I'm, one, being honest, and two, not hurting anybody, I think I'm doing just fine in this life. And while those two pillars of law, I guess you can refer to it as, are helping me and giving me confines to live within, I still need to do something. I think expression of self and seeking of self, more to learn more about myself, is something that I look to do in this life. It just, one day on to the next, just learning as much as I can learn about myself before it's quote unquote the end. That's also another thing I wrote. It was my most recent community post. It was discussing the idea of death, and me personally, I don't think death is the end. I feel like it's the a cutoff of your ability of what you can perceive as a human being. Whatever it means to be a human being, we're limited in this plane of existence, and there's only certain things we can hear, certain things we can see, we can feel. I feel like there's, well, I think it to be concrete enough knowledge, but you never know. But I believe that there's more beyond what we can experience right now as human beings. There's more to be experienced, but we just don't have the ability to. We don't have the means to, you know, carry that out. But it's all interesting. It's all interesting. Let me take it back a little.
is the point. We are the creators and the created. We are the gods we have worshipped and the disciples who God has blessed and smote.
Wow.
Every species and every individual possessed and possesses a role and power to create the universe. The purpose of our existence is to transcend our existence, to continue on. We have gone from newborn to teenager to adult to elder, and now we are at the brink of death, the end of everything. And so, now we must make the end of everything the beginning of everything once again.
Continues.
Meaning is found not in doing things for yourself, but in doing things for the whole that you are a part of. Throughout history, we needed to believe in personal reasons to keep us going, but now we need to keep going for reasons that are not personal. In every act of consciousness, we have created the universe, and so we have already been creating it for billions of years. Now we are just finishing the job. The two sat silently for a moment, and then they returned to their base. During the remainder of the universe, the Scenes created blueprints and processes for building a new universe. Once it was ready and the universe had become darker and darker, its energy began tightening in around them. The remaining celestial bodies exploded and matter narrowed in, stretching and disintegrating their own bodies along with it into
Mm.
a tiny final pinpoint of everything, compressed perfectly and completely.
At the Big Bang.
For a moment, there was silence. Then, an explosion. Matter and energy flooded out, time and
Wow.
space unfolded, stars, planets, and cosmological unions formed. The journey of the universe began.
That's a great setup.
After billions and billions of years, from the sea of boiling cosmic soup, life bubbled up to the surface, and then complex consciousness emerged. This video was sponsored by Finamize.
Yeah. No, that was a phenomenal video. Great job, Pursuit of Wonder. Maybe one day I could work with you guys. Maybe I could do a voiceover for you guys or write a script for you guys. But hey, um, not sure if there's much more to be said. But I think I wanted to hint at the idea of something creating. Maybe I'll be able to find that thought that I lost in the beginning the first time I paused. But the more I'm thinking right now, I'm thinking the likelihood of that it isn't much. But the idea of creating, I don't know. It's just interesting to think about something as like ongoing. I know I said something about that earlier. Everything is ongoing, but truth be told, truly all we know is right now. And so there's like, can you really say there's no knowledge of the past? There's definitely no, or at least no concrete knowledge of the past, no concrete knowledge of the future. Hopefully it's known that our memories can um you know I don't be distorted in a sense, in a way. And then of course the future is unpredictable for the most part. We say we're able to predict it, but any given chance, the things in which we could predict could you know not turn out in such way. And so, but what I was getting at is, for something to be ongoing, that means there has to be something ahead of us. And if there's something ahead of us, that means there was something behind us. But as I was saying, all we know is now. So how, I don't know. I think I'm picking a fight with that ing suffix. It's like I think it's funny, and maybe I can come back to it now, because the whole idea I was saying in the beginning of what was I saying? Not really having a dang, man, I lost it. Completely lost it. Completely fumbled the thoughts. It was right there. I need to start taking notes while I'm watching videos. I'll be so much better. Like I started taking notes. Anywho, I guess that's the end of the video. I will be looking to join you guys. You know where. Before I say where, I must do the outro. So be sure to leave a like. Be sure to subscribe. Turn on post notifications. But if you are not going to do any of that, please do leave a comment. I would like to have I would like to have a conversation with you. Good day.